Hi everybody, how are we doing? How's the camera? Is the camera too far? Which way is the camera too far? There we go. There we go. Now I'm more centered. How are we doing today? We are gonna see if we can follow this. Yeah, finish this game. Camera was too far that way. Yeah, no shit. I figured it out. It's all good. Okay. I think we were playing this one with my controller. I think, weren't we? I think so. I'm trying to remember where we were. You like the lighting? Okay. I'm gonna have to remember this and set everything to this for my streaming then. Because I kind of like this too. It's not too bright, so it's good for like the dark games. So. Okay, so sounds about right. Just trying to get stuff out of the way. There we go. Okay, so that's how we can get over that rebel. What's the other way though? There's like spots in our vision too. Okay, so we're up on the second floor. Oh god, there's like blocks. I think that was a graphical glitch. Okay, can I get in here? Why does everything keep like... That's what we want. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we can't get anything there. I know I was talking about this earlier with Mux, but I do think I might end up painting my desk. Because I think if it's a darker color, too, it would help with the... It's like a little bit of glare on the TV. Let's see anything that I can interact with here. Whoa, it just got really quiet all of a sudden. Oh, there it goes again. This was a door I could see from the other side. What's kind of... So... there's a hospital near where I live that kind of has, that... Hey, Tachil! That actually, like, deals with a lot of mental health stuff. It's actually where I had to go. For the one program I got into, after, like, taking myself to the ER and stuff. And they actually have the same kind of thing where there's, like, locked in, like, outside spaces. Though maybe this wasn't always supposed to be an outside space? Kind of looks like it, though. I think it was, but... Semi-outside space. It makes sense if you think about it. So that lets people get... Well, it's more like, because, these walls, I guess they do look kind of the same as these walls, but they look slightly different than the outside walls. And these here are the doors that they used to go to the outside, right? They got, like, windows and shit on them. But maybe they were just more rooms. It's hard to tell. But, like, I just had, like, a flashback to, like, visiting the hospital for my appointments and stuff. A little bit. It was not in this much disrepair. Just gonna put that out there. But like, some of the layout just seems kind of familiar. The beams of the wood above men, the fallen rebel, makes you think there was something more, but it's hard to tell. Well, I was thinking, like, it might have been, like, it could have been, like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it could have been, like, a glass dome type thing above. Like, that's why I said, like, maybe, like, a semi-outdoor area? But yeah, it's hard to tell. I can't open all of these doors, but I can open that one. Oh, There's a movie thing. There's an inside tree. Semi-inside tree? Could see if having something on top, even if only to prevent people from trying to escape, but still create the feeling of being outside. Yeah, because this was the agitated ward, right? So this is essentially like the high security, dangerous patients area. Like full-on dangerous patients area. So they probably wouldn't have had any way to actually get outside. Turn it off. I want to put the other one in. Does it like change depending on which one you put in, or can you only put in one? It's just gonna go forever? I can't trigger any. Okay, there we go. I don't think I can switch it. I'm not seeing any trigger. Okay. I guess that's it. Actual real sunlight would be good for de-agitating the... Well, for de-agitating too. Yeah, but keep in mind, this is from... What is it? From the 40s? So... I don't know if you saw the beginning of this, Tichio, so I'll just give it again. This game comes with a heavy disclaimer. This is a really dark fucking game. They did a lot of research as to how mental patients in Spain were actually treated back in the 40s. This hospital is actually a real asylum that they rebuilt. And there's some disturbing things in this game so far. It's a good game, it's a good story, but... Definitely... Definitely dark. For example, we are where we are right now because of the choices we chose. Our character attempted to end it. So... don't know if that's supposed to be us. I'm gonna guess so. A TV. A camera. I'm gonna bet that this is where we're trying to come. This is probably gonna have like our records or something.
August 28th, 1942. We hereby notify you of the death of Ada T., mother of Renee T., a patient in your institution.
Oh.
No known relative. Sincerely yours, Onofrio P.
Oh.
I have no one left in the world. Nobody at all. Solitude is very strange. It muffles everything, slows it down.
We found out
It's an endless
in
scream
the
that makes
child's
no sound.
memory that
A
Onofrio was
silent
doing mommy.
scream. I can't stop looking at myself.
Yeah.
I will never leave this place. There is nobody out there for me. These walls have become my skin, and the wretched desperation within them is my soul without a voice. Here, nobody weeps anymore. How
are you
love
doing,
to
Chichio?
feel life, desperation, anger. I've stopped dreaming, daydreaming, maybe even thinking. I've lived in a reality which has corroded me and has stripped me of everything, even my ability to feel pain.
Sounds about right. Ronick, thank you so much for the sub. Much appreciated. Also, I don't get my sounds and I know why. Hang on. I have a new audio setup and I have to remember to actually do shit with it. So that's a thing. You want your sub back because of that K-pop stuff? Well, thank you. I think I got an emote too. What did I get? Let's see what I got. Oh, that's kind of a cool one. Okay. A stamp? Like a seal? Oh, that door there's open now. How you doing though, Ryan? How is everybody doing? I had to take a couple days off streaming just because life is shit right now. So we've got like, oh god, there was another fucking crazy anti-masker at work today. Like, they seem to be getting more numerous, and I don't handle them well. Yeah. So technically, they should have just kicked him out of the store, actually. We have a bylaw here that says you have to wear a mask unless you're medically exempt, and this guy just flat out said, I refuse. So technically, we legally should have kicked him out, or else our store can get fined, like, insanely. I just saw the screen shake, and I don't know if it was supposed to, or if it was a graphical glitch. I keep seeing blocks. Think there's anything here? Okay, so this is where we go next. What's over here? Ding. No. Anti-maskers. Oh, this one was full on crazy. Like, he almost even tried to refuse to like socially distance. So. And I'm not doing well with everything that's going on, so I flat out told him, I was like, because he tried, it wasn't even just that he wasn't wearing one. He tried to start arguing with me about how it's all a lie. And I was just like, I have to remain professional at work. So I was just like, if you continue this, I'm going to invoke my right to refuse unsafe work because I have mental health issues, and I can't be debating this stuff at work. And I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, my management would all deal with it because I got a little too heated with an anti-masker the other day. Because I didn't necessarily realize that I wasn't going to be able to handle it. It was the first big one. So, I, the first one that actually tried to argue with me. So now I'm just gonna invoke my right to refuse unsafe work if they try and pull that shit on me. The hell do these people think? The government's fucking its own economy and people are dying, yet it's all a lie? Oh, so this one guy that was in was saying that all these people that have died haven't actually died of COVID. He tried to be like, well, does anybody actually know anybody that's died of it? And it's like, dude, one, you don't know me, so maybe I do. Just saying. And two, the fuck does it matter to you? Should we go outside first or inside first? It's like, I don't mind. Like, I can quote like statistics and scientific studies and experimental shit that's been done that shows that masks do actually have an effect and all of that crap, like all they want. But the problem is they don't care. They think all of that stuff is faked. So, yeah, no, and that's why after the first, I was like, okay, no, I'm just not even going to. I'm just not even going to, like, no. So I just invoked my right to refuse work, because the problem is that I can't even sit there and listen to them talk about it. The guy today, like, I was actually physically shaking by the end of dealing with him, because he kept trying to help me. He tried to be like, you know, like, oh, I help people like you. And then he tried to give me some card with, like, some freaking cult website or some shit on it. Trying to say that, oh, he was me. He knows what I need and shit. And I was like, dude, you don't know shit about me. But yeah, no. So essentially, I'm pretty sure all of my management is, like, on board with me just invoking my right to refuse work in those situations. I mean, what are they gonna do?
May 5th, 1943. Renee's state of health is good. She is eating and speaking. Her spatial and temporal orientation is good. Therapy suspended. December 3rd. She calmly asks if she can leave the hospital. Evaluate patient for 6 months. May 2nd, 1944. Discharge denied despite a favorable psychiatric opinion. The patient has no home or means of support.
So they kept her just because she didn't have any family. That's bullshit. You went to pick up curry Sunday night, walked past a bus shelter. There are 20 teenagers in there in a space like 30 by 10. Yeah. Well, no, and that's the problem. It's like... like, that's my big problem, is that, you know, I don't go out anywhere. You know, I work, I go shopping, and I come home and stream with you guys. I don't even do my laundry in the frickin' laundry room because I don't necessarily trust the people in my building. It's not even so much that, but, like, it's also, like, a money thing, too. Like, fuck that. That's, like, $5 a day. Whoa. But it's like, yeah, no, if nobody cares, this is never gonna end, and we're never actually gonna go back to normal. But it's like nobody understands that. And it's like, I mean, do I like the way things are? I mean, I can't say that it really has affected me too much, aside from having to wear a mask at work. But the big thing for me is that, you know, I can't travel right now. So, like, I can't go see Mux until all this shit is over. At least not easily. I think eventually we'll either have a medicine or tech cure, or the virus will evolve to be less lethal, which is a thing that will eventually happen, but we are certainly slowing down us getting past this. Well, I mean, it may evolve to be less lethal, but it may not. It depends on... there's a bunch of, there are a bunch of vaccines that are looking really promising, I think, from what I've seen. Like, from what I've been hearing. But obviously nothing that's even remotely ready yet. So, I mean, I've got clearance to take, 3 weeks off at Christmas, but... Oh.
May 4th. The reasons why discharge is impossible are explained, and this is how Renee learns of her mother's death 2 years after the fact.
Oh, jeez, that's bullshit. Virus killing people is bad for its own evolution, so eventually they all end up like the flu, but it takes a long time. Well, I mean, the thing too, though, is that it depends, because viruses are... I can't remember what it is, but viruses are odd because they're not necessarily like living things. They actually, like, because they can replicate, but that's the only trait of a living thing that they have. Like, they don't eat. They don't need to consume anything for energy. They literally just replicate over and over and over. Like, that's all they do. Is they hijack cells in order to replicate. So... it is the ones that cause people to die stop themselves from replicating. Yeah. No, like I said, I get it, but... Yeah. I mean, you're talking to somebody who like, took school for biology. I took, like, whole courses on evolution and shit. Like, university-level courses. So, yeah, like, I do get the concept of it and everything. But it does also have to, because just because you kill the patient doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to replicate either, right? Because as long as you are infectious enough, then it doesn't matter, because you could still infect more people before you kill your current host. I'm gonna guess this is us.
She tried to kill herself in the night by hanging herself with a sheet, saved by the nurses. Restrained to her bed, she once more tried to kill herself by suffocation. The decision has been taken to perform a transorbital lobotomy.
So the only reason she relapsed is because they fucked her over and didn't tell her what was happening. That's kind of the thing, Tachil, is that it's not entirely clear. A lot of it is most likely memory. But the whole idea is that you are definitely not sane. So, this whole game is essentially exploring mental health and stuff, so... It might not even necessarily be memory. It could actually even be that it is, you know, you genuinely think you're seeing it. Or maybe we'll find out at the end that we're actually dead. And this is like hell. I could see that. It's like our own form of hell. Because we're essentially stuck living through our experience in the asylum. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Use of lobotomy spread rapidly in Italy compared to other European countries in America. The original technique pioneered by A.E. Moniz was perfected in 1937 by A. Fiamberti, who conceived the first form. The operation involved gaining access to the frontal lobes of the brain by sawing through the orbit bone above the eyelids, then damaging the lobes by means of an alcohol or formaldehyde injection, or using a special instrument. Contrary to what was often thought, the patients did not always receive invalidating damage, although this was often the case. Moniz was awarded for the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1949. This therapy gradually fell into disuse after the discovery of something. I wish that was a push to stop, like push to go to the next thing. Okay, guys, this might be, from what I've heard, this might be one of the most disturbing scenes, so just a warning. I didn't look up too much about this, but I wanted to look up a little bit just because there were some things in the description that made me want to make sure there's going to be no issues with Twitch. Their eyes are creepy as fuck. They're like just black. I don't think it's supposed to be metaphorical. I think it's just the human models. Yeah, and just, they actually did this to people. And she's still awake. It's brutal that a game shows this, but that's the point. Yeah.
10th of June, 1944. Operation successful. Patient tranquil and collaborative. Motor coordination capacity reduced, but she's improving. Transferred to the Tranquil department in the care of Dr. B. 25th of October. Continues to talk about Amara and her doll, Charlotte. The disturbances of motor capacity show slight signs of improvement. Difficulty walking, not capable of riding, and the nurses report that they have to help her dress, wash, and feed herself. In the summer of 1944, Renee was transferred back into my department. Aware of little, indifferent, hardly ever spoke. One day, she said, "When I find the courage to look at myself in the mirror, I see a young face which is aged and looks at me full of fear." She is a woman now who has changed profoundly compared to the girl that I had under my care several years ago.
No shit. You
Only the
blended her
sadness of her
brain.
gaze and her intelligence are unchanged. She's so young, just 23 years old, but is lacking all vitality.
Because you blended her brain.
Perhaps her condition may improve, but probably not. Her life has been thrown away. And nobody did a thing to try to avoid this.
Yeah, it's really sad. Because, like, you know from the beginning that she was just, like, she was disturbed. And it's just that nobody bothered to figure out what the fuck was actually going on with her. Possibly even with an actual illness, because she talks about seeing, like, a light. We do have more games to play. This game is almost hard to play though, because a lot of what happened in this is how I've actually felt. So, like, I think that's why I'm somewhat speechless, because it's not really something that is easy to kind of talk about. But that's kind of the point, right? We like to think that we've come a long way too, but we haven't really. Kind of glad I played this. It'd be a bit too strong for you, but it's been interesting to watch with a layer of detachment. Yeah, no, like I was saying, it definitely was difficult for me. Did you manage to catch a lot of it, Tachu? I think you were around when I was playing this on the weekend too, right? You caught most of it. Like, we like to think that we've come a long way. But the fact is that a lot of the treatments that we still give to people with mental health are... I mean, we're not blundering people's brains physically anymore. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. But a lot of times the like, just talking real for a minute here. A lot of times doctors will first jump to medication without actually trying to understand things. And in some cases it works. In some cases it does work. But not everybody is the same. When I was 17, I was 17 or 18, and I was in grade 12, my family was... My home life was fucking shit. There is only one way, arguably two ways that I wasn't abused. And, nobody ever believed any of it. And one of those two ways that I wasn't abused, everybody thought I was. And so everybody treated me like I was. And that was almost even worse, because you start to doubt yourself whether or not it happened or not. But when I was 17 or 18, I went to my doctor. And I told him, I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm so depressed, I don't feel like doing anything. And I had gone from, in grade 9, being a student who had an 80 average, almost a 90 average, to failing most of my classes by grade 12 because of the depression. And yet nobody listened to me. Everybody just thought I was acting out and shit. Nobody listened. The doctor says, "You consider yourself mature, right?" Like, yeah, I guess so. Okay, here you go, take these. And hands me some antidepressants, which are only intended for adults. Now, the reason that's really bad is, the reason it's intended for adults isn't because of the emotional maturity. What is this? Isn't because of the emotional maturity of the person. It's because of fucking brain chemistry. It doesn't matter how mature you are if your brain chemistry hasn't caught up. So essentially, I felt better for on those for a little while, but then, you know, the placebo effect wore off and they weren't doing anything. I was prescribed something else much later in university, and I ended up with a headache. But again, the first thing anybody ever jumps to is meds. Medication is great if done well, but you've seen it misprescribed, and people who need help just have dependency on the drug created, and when attempts are made to take them off the medication, worse problems happen. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened when, so when I was in high school, so when I was 18, my mom refused to keep paying for the medication, and I had to go cold turkey. So that kind of turned me off medication for life, for mental health. Because, yeah. But, no, I mean, we like to think we've come a long way. Reminded me of a radio show you listened to about psychology, which is talking about how brains change in teenagers. Between 16 and about 25, the brain goes through a pretty drastic restructure. Yeah, like, I mean, I was more into, like, wildlife biology and stuff like that afterwards. But I did take a couple courses on psychology and stuff. And, Yeah, it's like how the hormones and stuff are work, and like I honestly don't know too much about that, but all I know is that the doctor shouldn't have based it off of whether I felt mature or not. Yeah. But no, I mean, like, I'm not gonna say we haven't come a long way, because clearly we have compared to what we see in this. But there's still a huge stigma. This is more at the chemical brain structure level. Yeah. Well, yeah, no, because it's all about, like, hormones and stuff, right? And within those age, your hormones are doing all sorts of weird shit. Thing that really irks me about modern medicine is cost overrides science. Well, and that's the thing. So, I live in Canada right now, and we have free healthcare, but they don't include mental health in that. The only way, so we have knowledge to sort people properly and diagnose properly, but that usually doesn't happen because cheapest option is often taken. Yeah, like, what is it? The problem with drugs, with mental health drugs, is you need to know exactly what is causing somebody's issues, and a lot of times we don't know that, right? So what some people actually, what I've heard some people are starting to do is you can actually get blood tests that will sequence your genome in order to determine which medication, if any, and what dose will actually help you. But yeah, not everybody's gonna be able, most people aren't gonna be able to afford that. But yeah, so like here, we have free healthcare, but they don't include mental health in that. So, up until like 3 or 4 years ago, I had never actually been assessed or diagnosed. Even now, I haven't had a full assessment or diagnosis. And the problem is that this isn't, so we're getting kind of back into touchy subjects and all that kind of stuff. The problem is that you actually have to go really far, even here, in order to get any free care in terms of mental health. So several years ago, back when I had just started streaming, before I had like fully branded myself, before I had met Mux, before I had met most of you guys who are around now, just after I got out of university, so we're probably talking, I'm just looking at my diploma, which I have up here. Probably about like early 2015, late 2014. I really wasn't doing well. And I couldn't get any help. It wasn't an option. The only thing that I could do was take myself into the ER. And I had to do that 3 times, I think. 2 or 3 times. And every single time, it would be, are you going to do anything to yourself? And every single time, I would answer, I want to, but I can't for my pets. They're the only reason that I don't do anything to myself. And they would sit me for observation, sometimes for like 15 minutes, only like 15 minutes, and then send me home. And that would be that. And I had to do that 2 or 3 times. You know someone who got 2 lovely cats for that exact reason? Yeah. I had to do that 2 or 3 times before they even referred me to an actual program where I could actually get therapy at no charge. And it was there that I finally got some level of diagnosis. I'm pretty sure it's not a full level of diagnosis because, let's face it, I am so fucked up. And I say that in the best of ways. So I mean, you know, they came up with the obvious anxiety and depression, and it's like, no fucking shit. I've known that since I was 8. The only new one that I got was borderline personality disorder, which actually explained a lot, but it still doesn't quite explain everything. So I suspect that there's a little bit more going on in my brain than has currently been diagnosed. But again, I have insurance. I could probably go get it and only have to pay like 50%, but that's still more money than I got right now, so. But yeah. I strongly suspect that there's more going on, because there was some things, especially in this game, that are... You guess drugs are cheaper than psychologists and psychotherapists. Well, that's the funny thing, because, I mean, fuck, if I could get it for free, I would let some university, like, graduate do their, you know, their master's degree on me. Like, I don't fucking care. Like, what are they gonna do? They're gonna fuck me up more than I'm already fucked up? Like... Not likely to happen. Just saying. But no, because there's some things about me that... so 2 things about me that I think probably are in need of a diagnosis are... I'm pretty sure I have some level of paranoia. I don't know to what extent, or if it's tied to something else. But this goes beyond just like... oh no, did I forget to lock the door kind of thing. This is, I don't like to walk between somebody else and the edge of the street, or especially like the edge of a train or a subway, because I feel like somebody's gonna push me in front of a car or a train. This is sitting in a dark room where there's no lights and thanking the invisible eyes that are watching me. Kind of levels of paranoia. So it makes me sound more crazy than I am, but you know, little things I've been living with for most of my life, and I know that they aren't actually anything to be worried about, which kind of ties into the second part, in that my brain is like actually full on, like sometimes it feels full on fractured. So I've got a very rational side of my brain that knows the difference between, you know, what's realistic and what's not. It knows all the facts. It, you know, can stay focused and logical and all of that. The other side of my brain is the side that gets the paranoia. It sometimes has issues with knowing what's real and what isn't. And it is definitely the side that gets over emotional. So, together... I make a sensitive, slightly quirky, high-functioning adult. But if you could actually go inside my head, yeah, you don't want to go inside my head. But, anyways, that's enough, like, seriously disturbing mental health talk. But I mean, if you guys have any questions, y'all are more than welcome to. We're gonna switch games now though, because you guys know I love talking mental health.